Hi. Hi, everyone. How are we doing today?
Good.
I
How
hope
are
you're
you?
good. Doing great. I'm so glad we all are here today. I wanted to go ahead and welcome everyone. And at this point, I want to say that we are going to go ahead and officially start our IEP meeting for Janet today. I want to start by giving introductions, and I'm going to introduce myself first. My name is Sylvia Caver, and I am Janet's special ed teacher. And I would like to go ahead and go around the room and allow everyone else to introduce themselves.
Okay. Hello, I'm Terry Jones. I'm the principal and I will be serving as the LEA today. It's nice to meet you.
I am Rita Alexander, and I am her general education teacher.
I am Jay Jones. I am the school district psychologist.
And I'm Mary Davenport. I am Janet's caseworker.
And I'm Jessica Bolware. I am her foster parent.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet everyone. Awesome. So now that we have our introductions, I'm going to go ahead and pass around the record of access form, and where I would like for everyone to place their signature that they attended this meeting and that they have access to the IEP. And while we're doing that, I wanted to go ahead and discuss our purpose for this meeting. We're having this meeting today because our IEP team has been put together to draft a new IEP for Janet. And we do believe that Janet needs services and we want her to receive services, and we feel that she benefits from receiving services. So that is the purpose of the meeting. And while the forms are being signed, I want to go ahead and let everyone know that you cannot record this meeting because we have to keep everything confidential. We have to keep confidentiality to protect the sensitive information that is being discussed in this meeting and to protect Janet's privacy. So now that we have that discussed and out the way, we'll be moving on to our next part. And I know that you all have your IEP in front of you and you all can look at the data with me. And I'm going to be shifting and pulling out the IEP as well. Give me 1 second. I want you all to know as well that this meeting should take over 30 minutes, but we're going to review the data. We're going to review all of the information that this IEP team as a whole have put together for Janet today. So at some point also, if anyone has any input, questions, or concerns, or want edits or changes, we're going to allow you to voice those concerns in this meeting. And our rules are simple, is that we want to stay focused on what's best for Janet because we want her to have the most successful year and successful outcomes. So now that that's being said, I'm going to ask everyone to be respectful each other of the teams, respect everyone's ideas. If you have cellular devices and communication devices, I want you to turn them off. I want everyone to keep confidentiality, and let's keep the discussion objective. Whereas we base it on the data that we've collected for Janet, and we're respectful and we consider all points of view and stay on topic. At this point, we're going to ask Ms. J. Jones, our psychometrist, could you please review the data that we've collected in regards to Janet, please?
Yeah, thank you. So we have determined that Janet is eligible for special services under the disability category of specific learning disability for reading comprehension. We have completed formal testing to determine this placement with the Woodcock-Johnson Mastery Test of Reading. According to her scores, Janet's broad measure of global reading ability is at a first grade 7th month level, placing her significantly behind grade level. This will significantly affect her state and other standardized testing, potentially adversely affecting social science and science as well, since they are both reading-based subjects. Currently, Janet does not have a need for transition services, which will become more relevant when Janet enters high school. We will revisit transition services when Janet turns 14. The goals for transition are implemented to ensure Janet Janet's transition into life after high school is smooth, and to set her up for success and in post-secondary education, independent living skills, and in her chosen career or occupation. So it's good to start thinking about those things, but we don't have to put that on paper till she's 14. So Janet is new at this school due to a foster care placement. We do not have access to her previous records, so we are writing a new IEP with a reading goal since we know reading skills are a deficit. I'm going to give it back to Sylvia, and she's going to read through the development of the current IEP.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. You did a wonderful job. Thank you very much. At this point in time, we're going to go over the IEP that this team has put together and drafted for Janet. I would like to begin by discussing her goals that we've measured, her annual goals, because this will be the goal that we will work for throughout the entire school year. We did have knowledge that she has deficits in reading and reading comprehension. So we developed her an annual IEP goal, Ms. Boware, in reading. And so I would like for you to turn to the annual goals page in your copy of the IEP so you can follow along with me. That way, if there's anything you disagree with or that you feel like we need to change, or if her caseworker or anyone feels like needs to be addressed after we finish this part, feel more than free to share your input or just let us know if you agree with the goal that we set. And we did decide that conclude that she has a deficit in the area of reading comprehension. Based on the recent evaluations, Janet is reading on a first grade level. Janet needs time in the resource room with a special education teacher to target her deficits in reading and reading comprehension. The special education teacher will work with Janet to target her deficits in reading grade level words accurately and her reading comprehension skills through discussion and writing weekly for 30 minutes. Her measurable annual goal relating to her need to address the reading comprehension deficit. It was determined that by May 20th, 2024, Janet will use combined knowledge of letter sound correspondences, appropriate blending, syllabication patterns, morphology, and word attack skills to read unfamiliar multisyllabic grade level words accurately in context and in isolation with 80% mastery accuracy levels. Janet will be able to demonstrate comprehension of varied literary and informational text by utilizing its content when discussing or writing in response to the text. She will answer questions verbally based on the passages with 80% accuracy on all teacher graded tests. And these are our annual goals that we've set for her in reading. Do you agree with those, Mom, or disagree? Or do the special ed teacher, the case manager, do y'all have anything y'all would like to say at this point about her annual goals?
I think to me, it sounds like y'all are able to provide her with the support and the help that she needs in order to become successful academically. So I am perfectly okay with the goals that you have written for her to help her achieve those goals.
I think the goals, they sound great. As her caseworker, a lot of our students in the foster care system can be behind academically, and we know that. And so just to help her not get lost or anything, if y'all notice any regressions or anything not working, just please keep myself and her foster parent in the loop. But these, I think, will definitely help her bridge that gap since she is so low. So yes, that sounds great.
Okay, since everyone is in agreement, and I'm really glad, we're going to go to the cover page of the IEP, asking everyone to go to the cover page with me. We sent out a teacher input survey. We did a parent input survey. We also did a student input survey to gather this data along with other data our psychologists collected from administered curriculum tests. So all of this information is objective and data-based, and I'm going to review those strengths and weaknesses that we found and identified with Janet. And when I finish, just for you all to know, we will next go to the accommodations and the aids that we will provide to Janet And so if there's anything that anyone would disagree with or want to add input on, when I finish the cover page, please go ahead and let us know. And we're gonna pause at one point and we're gonna hear from Janet's general ed teacher. With that being said, we did go ahead and consider the IEP team if Janet needed extended school year services. And we were able to conclude that Janet does not need extended school year services. When we assessed some of the strengths of Janet, we found that she is very sweet and she's a quiet young lady. She's very respectful. And her strengths are that she has well behaved, she has great behavior, she's well mannered in the classroom. Janet will also participate by reading the reading to the reading dog and the reading corral activity. So her teachers responded that she's very mannerable in the classroom. From the data that we collected, Ms. Ballware, from the parent, which would be you for concerns, we found that due to Janet being newly placed in foster care, that you weren't aware that she did receive IEP services prior to. And so you wanted us to have this meeting to determine what IEP services that Janet needed. And you also found that you wanted us to know you are very concerned about Janet, you're very involved, and that you would be more than willing to come to meetings to participate in her educational needs for Janet to be successful. So we notated those were the parental concerns on the IEP. And for her preferences and interests, we were able to find out from a student input survey that Janet enjoys looking through fashion magazines and Girls Life magazine. She enjoys art and draws pictures of clothes and shoes. She always loves to sing on the playground and enjoys songs by Jennifer Lopez and Taylor Swift. Janet likes the small animals that are in the classroom and the reading dog that comes to the classroom twice weekly. The results of the most recent data and evaluations, we found that Janet met eligibility for special education services in the area of a specific learning disability, which was in the area of reading comprehension. The Woodcock-Johnson test of reading data was administered to Janet. Her highest score was in word comprehension, which was a 1.8 level, which indicates that Janet reads as a typical student in the first grade at a first grade 8th month level of school. Her other scores were as follows. In word attack, she was on a 1.4 level. In passage comprehension, a 1.4 level. And in word identification, Janet scored 1.2. Her total reading score was a total of 1.7, which indicates that Janet reads as a typical student in the first grade 7-month level of school. Each of these scores indicate that she is reading 3 grades below her grade level. Under her academic, developmental, and functional needs, we were able to conclude that according to the results of the Woodcock-Johnson test that was administered, Janet is performing significantly below grade level in reading and comprehension. Janet also needs assistance with an appropriate behavior while interacting and completing group work. Janet needs time in the resource room to help close the gaps in her reading comprehension deficits. We did find that Janet does not have any medical diagnosis that requires a medication schedule, and she does not have a need for a functional behavior assessment behavior intervention plan. Based on this data that has been presented in the cover sheet, we're going to allow the general ed teacher to speak at this time. If there's any input or data that she's observed from Janet in the classroom that she would like to share.
Yes, Janet, like we said, she's a sweet girl. She does work hard. She just needs a little extra help. And I think this IEP will be very beneficial to getting her the extra help she needs in reading to close the deficits.
Thank you. Ms. Boulware, is there anything you disagree with that we've assessed at this point that you want us to change in the cover sheet?
Not at all. I think based off of the information that y'all have gathered, y'all seem to know her very well. She is very sweet. She is quiet mannered, but she is very respectful. I definitely agree that the data is showing those deficits in her reading. So I think from so far what we've gone over, this plan is exactly what she needs.
Thank you. Since everyone is in agreement that we don't need any changes We're going to go to the services part of the IEP. And after we read those, we're going to hear from our LEA. And she will speak on behalf of our school as a whole on about the administering of these accommodations and services. So right off, adjusting her services that are required for her reading comprehension deficits, the IEP team did decide that the special ed teacher will work with Janet 2 times weekly for a total of 1 hour to reteach deficit reading skills through small group or one-on-one instruction in the resource room. And we did also decide under the supplementary aids that these accommodations will be given daily for a total of 450 minutes in the general ed classroom, which means that Janet will require the following accommodations daily in the class, which include extended time, instructions, read aloud explicitly, frequent checks for understanding, and read aloud options whenever it is applicable. Moreover, the accommodations needed for assessments, we decided that Janet requires the following accommodations while taking assessments daily for a total of 450 minutes in the general ed classroom. Janet will be provided extended time, instructions read aloud prior to the test, small group, read aloud, and we also decided that we would give support to the personnel, whereas the special ed teacher or the case manager will provide copies of the IEP to the general ed teacher twice a year and review it for 15 minutes so that the general ed teacher will be aware of the accommodations and services that Janet will be entitled to receive according to fate. If no one disagrees with any of those, I'm going to pause at this point and allow our LEA to speak.
Hey, Ms. Bower. I just wanted to go over just a quick little paragraph with you that I just feel like it reflects our school. As the LEA, I'm responsible for ensuring that the students' needs are met in accordance with special education laws and regulations. I will provide input on the implementation of the IEP and offer insights on available resources and help coordinate services to support Janet's educational needs and goals. I will also ensure the IEP is legally compliant and facilitates communication between all parties involved. And if you ever need anything, you can always reach out to myself and, Ms. Caver, her teacher. We're always here for you and we are on your team, literally. So.
I greatly appreciate that. Janet really needs a structured environment. So I appreciate the support from everyone.
Awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so at this point, this concludes our meeting. I'm going to go ahead and review our minutes, and I will pass that around for everyone to sign. And after I read the meetings, please let me know if everyone agrees with those, and that will be the end of our meeting. So we've decided as a whole, the IEP team, that Janet will receive 2 30-minute sessions, a small group, and one-on-one individualized instruction weekly in the area of her deficits for reading comprehension and English language to reteach deficit reading skills. She will continue to be exposed to the general ed curriculum within the general ed classroom. With the implementation of these supports, Janet will be successful in the general ed environment. We also decided that Janet does not need a FBA BIP. It was agreed that Janet benefits from receiving services and accommodations, and she will continue to receive services and accommodations throughout the school year. Does everyone agree with the minutes?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, we're going to pass those around for signatures, and at this point, this concludes our IEP meeting for Janet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.